Well, hello again. Here's an absolutely incredible trip. It's just a return journey based at the bottom end of the Yorkshire Dales National Park on the edge of Wharfedale. So we're going to start at Skipton, which is where we happen to be staying, down into the town of Gargrave, use the Leeds-Liverpool Canal to get us most of the way to Skipton, and then cut round via Emsay into Bolton Priory, where we're going to spend some time at Bolton Priory and Bolton Abbey area, have a look, sit around, have some lunch, and then head our way back on the same journey. Gives you a great view of the outskirts of the of Wharfedale, really, and some of the towns and places that we've got there, and the sorts of scenes that you can pick up. So very easy to do. With just a quick warning that Skipton is quite an urban town, and therefore you need to have road sense about you when you pass through Skipton. There's no real way of avoiding it. So here we go, we're just going to leave Skipton, head down into Gargrave, take the canal along, and then a few roads down into the town of Skipton, and then we work our way through Emsay and down towards Bolton Priory, which is mostly rural at that next bit. We spent some time there, and then we just retrace our steps back again. You can see it's quite hilly though, and that the low point is the Wharfedale. There we go. So 26 miles, so 13 miles each way. So we're just leaving Skipton, and these are quiet roads. They're generally back roads. You can get some fast traffic, and remember that you're sandwiched in between stone walls much of the way on each side, so you do need to be a little bit careful. There's no cycle tracks or anything like that, but much of this is on some national cycle network as well in the area, but just be careful. So you can see here there's nowhere really to go if a big vehicle comes along. So we'll head down this road. The road surface quality is pretty good. It's not all that way as you get away from the main surface area. This is in part of the estate. We're following around, and we're really heading down towards Gargrave. So we've got this big parkland on the right hand side with a bit of grazing and some wonderful trees in it. And as we head in towards Gargrave, we just get the first bit of traffic, but you're almost immediately going to pick up the canal there. So we've barely entered, we just come into the final bit, and just a quick turn off here, and then straight onto the canal at this point. It's a heavy gate, you'll need someone to hold it, but the Leeds-Liverpool Canal got quite a few other cyclists, fishermen, pedestrians, dog walkers on it, so please use your bell. And occasionally as well you'll find a canal boat that's moored up, and there'll be some ropes stretching across. They shouldn't go across the path, but you just need to be a bit careful if there's other people around. So we head out. We do have to cross the road at one point, but in fact what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath, but I recommend you push your bike at that point across the cobbles. It's a little bit slippy in the wet, but then we carry on, and we're really following until we get to a farm at the far end, and then we have to leave. I don't think the canal is suitable for going all the way into Skipton. In fact, it does keep going, the path does keep going, but it misses the main town of Skipton. So here we go, we're coming up towards the end now. You can see the farms arriving, and we're just going to turn left across that bridge. So we turn, maybe not that bridge. No canal boats here, lots of wildlife, definitely. Great place to see a range of different dragonflies, quite a lot of birds, and a lot of the different forms, different species of geese will be actually grazing on the hillsides around, competing with the sheep for the available grass. As you can see, plenty of dogs, but we're going to head down this final bit, It's a good part of the journey. It's a couple of miles, about 3 miles. And I think this might be the farm and the bridge that we cross. So here we go, we're crossing the thing. Now when we get out towards the road, that's a bit gravelly there. This is quite a busy road, and for this bit, although it's low traffic because we cut diagonally across it, some of these villages do tend to have a lot of farm traffic and other things around, so do be careful when you're elsewhere. So we're now going to follow up, and at this moment we're actually climbing up a hill. So there's quite a bit of climbing taking place here. But you can see how quiet the roads are, just the odd car. And what we're now really doing is trying to sneak into the back way into Skipton by coming in from the northwest of the town. But we will have to cross a couple of major roads, but we use the flyovers. If you like old buildings and like exploring the area and getting a feel for the history, you'll see loads of wonderful old farms and large manor houses that have now been converted into domestic residence. And we were lucky enough to be there when all the blackthorn was out in flower. So this is around Easter week. Now at this point we're climbing up this hill, and this is where we go over one of the major arterial roads around here, and so you do get a little bit of traffic. So we just crossed the road there, and there's the police vehicle at the top with speed cameras checking the speed of the people on the road. And now we're getting towards the outskirts of Skipton. So we're going through a housing estate. It's not too bad traffic, but there's lots of twists and turns, and again you can see there's not really anywhere to go. You can't get off it. At this point we're just turning now into one of the main streets, into the centre, and we go past the church here, and we're going to follow round through the town square really. So round here we go left, past the Skipton Castle. And this bit is a particularly scary bit of road because you're going quite slowly, going uphill. The road is very narrow. It's double yellow line and there's nowhere to go. We come out the other end and there's all sorts of schools and other things around here. So quite a bit of traffic as we climb up this final bit of hill. I think we had to stop for the lights here. Not that anybody crossed. Carry on. The Skipton Castle is on your left, and there's the main entrance to it. And I think there might have even been a little bit of pavement that you could have used as a path on the left. But we're just going to turn left at the top here. Here we go, and we turn left, and now almost immediately we've left the worst of the traffic, even though there seems to be a bunch overtaking us. That's because they were caught behind us. And we're now heading through a weird bit that's all completely new housing development. So this is all being built and we were watching it going up. We go down underneath the main road again, and this bit's very fast, and again there are quite a bit of traffic underneath another road, or was that a railway? But soon when we get to Emsay, after that it starts to close off. So here we are in the town of Emsay. It's moderately, it's like a little suburban town, no worse than where we live on the outskirts of Woking. But then when we come out from there, we quite soon leave it all behind. A lot of little steep hills, a lot of up and down. This was quite slow for us. And we get a few spots of rain because that's what we always get. You could be on the pavement at this point. And as we get towards the top of the hill, we turn right, past another bit of housing development that's taking place. This is a completely new build. There was a little bit of construction traffic here, but really it's as quiet as you can get because nobody lives here yet. So we got this, and then we're going to go right up here round the outside of the housing development, and at this point we just literally seem to disappear into classic Yorkshire Dales hillsides. So this bit is wonderful, very quiet, typical almost single track road with passing spaces, and it seems odd as to how quickly we leave Emsay behind. If you're going to buy a house, it seems to be quite a good place if you want access to some nice countryside, as long as they don't continue to expand. This is quite a long bit of journey, but the road surface is reasonable. It is falling apart in places, so you just want to make sure that you don't go too near to the left-hand edge, because the curb there in places is covered in muck or it breaks away. But as we head up the hill here, I think we went past an ice cream factory as well that's tucked away on one of the farms. Sorry about the shaking. The camera had worked its way a bit loose. And when we're going uphill, the pedalling tends to shake it around. So here we go, and that bit on the left I think was the factory. But really very quiet, as you can see. But it is a long climb up to the top, and then we're going to descend at a fantastic rate straight down towards Bolton Estate. So it was at this corner we did get stuck a little bit. There was quite a bit of traffic just on that bit, and then it was quieter again up here. Actually, this is where the ice cream factory was there on the left. Somebody Brothers. And now we're heading down. Wonderful bit of road, this one. You've got the Dog's Mercury growing in low parts on the left, and typical farmhouses. Everybody seems to plant daffodils on the edge of the road, and it just felt very quiet and rural. A little bit more ascent. It's supposed to be high speed, as you can see, that the cars could go at full whack, but they'd be foolish to, because there's barely enough room for one car. And now we're getting onto the edge of the Bolton Estate, and as we start to descend, you can see that very little pedalling is required from here on. Just this little climb up to the top again, and then we carry on descending down towards the river. And the Wharfe is a lovely river. It's a great place to go, and it's very tranquil down at the bottom. So here we go now on the estate proper, and as we get towards the bottom, there's another place. If you wanted to do the journey in the opposite direction, there's a car park at the bottom for those people using the Priory. So we get down here, follow our way round, catch up the cyclist we were with earlier on, down into the town, toilets and car park on our right, and we're just going to follow this road and then cut across into the Priory. So we stopped, did a little bit of observation, and we're now going to go right round towards the Priory. Sorry about the camera angle, but we can see it. We stop here, and then we spent some time looking at the remains of this Priory. A very tranquil place. I won't give you the history now. I'll just let you look at the scenes. So before leaving, we thought we'd just go up to the bridge. Now we'll be tackling a lot of this later on in another ride, and we've been there once before. You'll find in a much earlier ride that we did. But we went just to have a quick look over the other side and see whether we got a better vision of the Priory and the bridge. And there's a set of stepping stones across the water that the children love to run across, and as you can imagine, the children love to fall into. So took a few photos and then turned back, and we're now leaving Bolton Priory back onto that busy road. Just I say be careful at that point. And now we're heading up towards, we've stopped off at the toilets at the car park, and now we're on our way back. And I've sped this up double the speed, but it should be pretty similar, reverse of what we had before. The main difference is that as we return, we're actually getting towards the edge of the rush hour. So you'll find that we start to encounter a little bit more traffic on some of the main roads. So again, I urge you to be careful on it. But it's a great ride for getting from A to B, and as you can see, you can make your own choices about whether you're capable of doing it or not. The worst bit is really going through the middle of Skipton. Not there's anything wrong with the town, and you could push your bikes through quite a lot of that urban. But and it's a great town to go shopping in. It's quite a pretty town, but actually to cycle through it, if you're not familiar with roads, could be just a little bit much. So here we are descending over the top, very pretty, back to that new housing development. The edge of Emsay. Come out of there, pass all the main roads that go over the top, and this bit is a bit fast, and at this time at night it just felt much busier. Past the housing development, we're going to shoot off now and head down into the town of Skipton. Here we are, and we stopped at a little shop back there and bought some sausages, and now we're heading back on. And our priority here is to not get caught out by any of the school traffic as it heads its way home. So we hit this housing estate, past the school, up the hill, and it is quite a steep hill and it's quite long, but it's great to see the houses that are there. There is an old prison camp on the left where I think it was Italian prisoners of war were kept, and that makes quite an interesting stopping point. But now we're heading off back down towards the canal. We're back on the Leeds-Liverpool canal. I've sped this up twice as fast as the other time. Leeds-Liverpool canal, as you can see, not as many people on here, but you do tend to get dog walkers much more as it gets towards tea time, really. Crossing the few gates that we've got there, more people to speak to, so we did stop and talk to quite a few people on our way. Underneath the road, carry on back in towards Gargrave, and you can see Gargrave beginning to rise up. Here we go. If those of you who've got tandems, there's JD Tandems on the left. Definitely recommend giving them a visit. If you haven't got a tandem, then why not? They are absolutely brilliant fun. So now we're heading back towards Eshton. So onto past the big manor house, onto the estate. So up this last hill, and we're nearly there, but do be careful of the rush hour traffic. There's quite a bit of it, and the roads are quite narrow. So this is us. We are just about done now. Here we go. So thank you for following us. You can find the route details and a GPX file available from our Komoot page. That's Paul and Diane on the tandem. And we'd love it if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We've got loads more rides in the Yorkshire Dales, including a repeat of the Swale Trail, but travelling in the opposite direction, and a few warnings about some of the other roads that Komoot will try and put you on. So we really look forward to seeing you on those. Do subscribe, do join us for the next one, and until then, bye for now.